we welcome the night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horror Night Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host, Ian. Ian, are you there?
I am.
How are you this week, sir?
Getting better.
Yeah. Same here. Last time we talked, or spoken, I mentioned had some health issues, and luckily nothing too bad, no surgery, thankfully. And so, yeah, we're good. There is an issue that I'm dealing with, but nothing that'll that'll make the show end on, or put it on hiatus anytime soon. So we're good. And we're here watching the world crumble, but we're here to talk clown movies with our Coulrgoria Marathon. It's been a while since we've done some clown stuff, and it's always interesting with our clown marathon. And we got one tonight, and I don't know, Ian. I don't know. But our film for tonight is called Clowntergeist, from 2017, and this is, again, there was a big boom in 2017 because of It, Chapter 1. And there was nothing but clown movies coming out around that time to cash in on the, upcoming release of It. And, of course, I'm sure some were completed before It even came out, but they released it. And this is one of those that I remember seeing. That sounded interesting. And then I actually watched the trailer for it back then, and it's just one of those oh, that does not look good. And we put our heads together. There's so many films to choose from for this marathon, and we just decided, what are we going to do? And we picked Clowntergeist as the first film, and I don't know. This is going to be one to start off the marathon. Hopefully it doesn't. Oh, God. Okay, so let's try to get the synopsis of this film, because the synopsis it's fairly straightforward, even though the film. Okay, well, we'll get into that. So, Clowntergeist, I don't even know if I can do the synopsis because it doesn't even make any fucking sense. So there's this town, and there's people that's getting haunted or being attacked by a clown, basically. But it's not a normal clown, or it is. I don't know. But it's a demon entity clown thing. It's not It. It's no Pennywise. His name's Ribcage, the clown, as the film progresses. And basically, it's sort of like the fucking Ring, like for some reason. Like you have 2 days, and like it has like a little countdown at the bottom of the written at the bottom of the screen every other scene, where it says like 24 hours until encounter or something like that. And it keeps clocking down. So you have like 2 days until this thing is going to happen to you, but you're still getting attacked and having these encounters with Ribcage the Clown, and like he's haunting you, like again, like a poltergeist, and it's just like this countdown, like you have until, like, he writes it on balloons filled with blood, and it's like, like, it's this Thursday at this certain time, and I think one of the instances is like 5:27 at like 2:31 a.m. is like the countdown to what's going to happen. And so we have our main protagonist, her name's Emma, and she lives with her roommate Heather, and they work at a ice cream shop. Their best friend is Jonah, who is the manager of the place. He's not the owner, but the manager, and they're all just friends. And she is scared of clowns in the most ridiculous way possible. It is just exaggerated, her fear. Like, she can't even look at a picture or a picture of a T-shirt. Like, I know clowns, it's a phobia, of course it is. But she really overplays it in this film, and then the whole reasoning behind the poltergeist is just ridiculous in itself because it doesn't make any fucking sense. This isn't bad like Mermaid's Curse bad. This isn't like Clown Doll bad. This is just one of those movies where it tries to be something that it cannot achieve. It tries way too hard, and it takes itself super seriously. And it didn't need to be this serious. There is jump scenes, jump scares constantly through the movie. That's unwarranted, honestly. It doesn't feel like they need to be there. And it tries, like, honestly, it's like almost like the little engine that could, but it sputters out like as soon as it goes over the start line. And it's just like it tries its damnedest. But because again, the budget and limitations, it just cannot achieve what it's trying to accomplish. And in the end, it's its own fault because it's trying to do all this stuff that it can't do. And there's just so many problems and issues with the film on a lot of standpoints. There's continuity issues. There's storyline, just like things that don't make sense to anything. And then, like, again, the whole reasoning for why Ribcage is there and the hauntings doesn't make sense. Even though, I mean, it does, but honestly, Ian, it doesn't. Because it doesn't.
No, I thought it was lame.
Yeah, there's just, all in all, it's not really that entertaining of a movie because, again, it tries it and it takes itself too seriously, and it just becomes a rather boring film. And like I said, it's not a good watch. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But it's just one of those where it's just nothing really sticks out except for a film that's trying way too hard to be something that it cannot reach. And it shows. And, again, there's a lot of issues. And, I mean, it just like things just don't work. And it's trying, like, there's parts where, like, so the clown, okay, we might have to get into spoilers, Ian, because there's just no other way to really discuss the film. But we'll get into that. I'll let you get your thoughts out, and then we'll go back and forth, because there's a lot of stuff that me and you probably need to go back and forth on. So your thoughts initially on Clowntergeist.
Well, it really wasn't an entertaining film. There was some scenes that I thought were okay, but not many. And yes, it really does try way too hard. You know, with a movie like Clowntergeist, I was expecting something silly, kind of fun at least. And like when you had, I was at dinner with my wife when you had messaged me about that, and I told her, it's just like with a movie like named Clowntergeist, it should be a goofy, like movie,
Clownado,
like that one,
sort of like Clownado.
Or that one clown movie where the guy like fell over and the knife went into his head. What was that called? I'm trying to remember that clown movie. Where he was a wisecracking clown just killing people as a ghost. That one was fun. This one was boring.
No Stitches?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so he's a ghost, demonic, possessed. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that he was a clown that was possessed by a demon for over 30 years. And I was like, okay. And so they were like, well, if you kill him, you put him away forever. It's like, okay. And then there's just nothing really goes anywhere. It's like, and all the jump scares were just there for no reason. Like, hardly any of them were built up. Some were built up and then kind of let down, and then you had the just like the jump scares. They tried to make a jump scare, but nothing actually happened, and it was just like, oh, nothing. Cool. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of problems with it that I just didn't get. Like, I didn't get why they did a lot of the stuff that they did. Not even like a coherent story. Just kind of well, this is what we're doing, and
yeah, and then you have like
the
beginning where like again the girl goes missing at the beginning, or she's found dead, and then her dad becomes, you don't even know it's her dad. I thought it was her boyfriend there until it's mentioned again, and she's going to her uncle's house and like, oh, I'm in this house. I've never seen this clown statue before, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm going to cover this clown statue up. And like, oh, I'm going to call the cops. We don't have a clown statue, and then it grabs her, right? So that's the whole beginning of the film. And again, the whole point of this thing, this Clowntergeist attacking people, is because you're afraid of clowns, and it's trying to basically get you over your fear of clowns, sort of. Is that the whole thing? And then like, oh, because at the end of it, she has the big revelation where she kills it, and it's like, oh, that's something I never was able to do. And then there's like, but you killed, the one dude killed it before that, right? He like put some arrows in it, and then it comes back, and then it's like everything's all good, and then it's like, did he summon it again? But it's been alive for 30 years. There's so many continuity issues and everything pertaining to the clown that it doesn't add up to make any sense what they're trying to achieve with the whole reasoning behind the damn thing.
No, and I was sitting here thinking, I was like, wait. Because when they shot it with the arrow, because before they were like, it's just and like the dad knew that it was a guy, a real person that was just possessed by a demon.
Yeah, with all the research.
He's like, he's like, if you kill him, then he stays dead. So he shot him, and he fell over and died. And he was back again. Then it's like, oh, I just would. And
then he gets, stabbed multiple times, and then that's when he dies.
And dies again. Yeah. And I was just like, what the fuck? And it was just, oh my Lord. It really just, honestly, if it wasn't for the reveal of the reason why, I mean, I didn't care why. I was like, and the reasoning was just stupid. That was just the dumb reasoning. Oh, we're going to kill you, and you deserve to die and be put to rest. Because if you're afraid of clowns, then you deserve to die and be at peace. And
because you can't live in a world where you're afraid of clowns. You can be afraid of everything else, but no, clowns. You gotta be at peace. It's the dumbest thing. And like I said, if it was like I said, if it was like in that world of like a Clownado or a fucking Asylum movie where they just go overabundant with stuff and had fun with it, I would have understood it. It was been stupid, you know. But it's so straightforward that it's just you're laughing at how stupid it is. Like what? You know, you're just second guessing the storytelling of the film, and it just does. There's all the issues with that, and then the way that she overreacts to everything, like when the dad wants to use her as bait, and then like, no, I'm not going to be used as bait. I'm not going to do that. And then she gets used as bait anyway. And, and then there's the whole kitchen sequence that just like, I was about to message you, like, this kitchen sequence is awful, and it is truly awful. And then there's like so many continuity and error, like bloopers in there where like they're in the kitchen and then they go out to the door and like they're pounding trying to get out the door. Like apparently it's locked from the inside and they can't get out for some fucking reason. And then the door changes and then it's like it's the same place but it's a different door. Like the one door, the first to go in there, it has glass windows. And then the second one, it's a full wooden door. Like, what the fuck happened to the door? And there's like so many continuity errors. And then on top of that, with the way the Ribcage acts, it's beyond stupid. They're trying to make this, you know, evil presence, demonic clown, and he's walking around like he's in a. I don't even know how to describe it, Ian. He's like, sometimes he looks like he's an ape or a gorilla running around on all fours, and then other times he's like arms straight like a baby walking almost. You know, when he's first trying to get his first steps and trying to walk, it looks like that, trying to be, menacing. And then later on in the movie, where the Emma and Heather's the friend, and like Emma gets the ice cream scoop and throws it at Emma. Emma throws it at Heather, and then Heather, runs, and then the next thing you know is like the ice cream scoop comes back bloody, right? So you're thinking, oh, okay, so the clown killed Heather or did something to Heather, and then it goes to the bathroom, and then Jonah's there with his guts hanging out, and like he's still alive, like you did this or something like that, and then it comes back that Heather's still alive, and then of course stabs Emma, and then so you're telling me that the clown had the one girl there, and they make a little bit of sense of this, like, oh, I lost him, so he went after Heather, ran into Jonah, killed him, and then went back and threw the ice cream scoop at Emma in like the span of like 30 seconds. It's just like, that doesn't make sense. Because it's just like, as soon as the ice cream scoop was shown, and then it was like 2 seconds later, 2 scenes later, and then it's thrown back bloody. So he just magically went there, killed Jonah with the ice cream scoop, threw it back at her, and then, it's foreshadowing, of course, but still, it's just like the errors in this film. And then there's the scene where, like, they're talking, her and Jonah, and you can you don't shoot directly into a window. They tried their best to sort of blur it out, because there's an earlier scene in the movie where, like, the ice cream truck, and it has the number on the side of it blurred, and so they kind of do the same thing, but with the director of photography holding the camera, and you can see him just sitting there with his arm up, and it's trying its best to be blurred, but then you see the guy holding the boom mic or standing behind the cameraman, just looking over, making sure everything's going all right, and it's just like, you don't shoot directly in front of a glass window. Right. So there's like a lot of, like first-time errors. I don't know if it's the director's first film or not, but there's like just a lot of errors. And again, it's hard to make a movie, try to keep it, on schedule or however you do, for a low-budget stuff like that. I mean, that's understandable. But there's still a lot of things that was just wrong with this film on a technical and on a storytelling standpoint.
Right. And there's just, I don't know, like, there was too much going on. It was just chaos. The movie was just chaos. There was just so much happening, and none of it was coherent. And it was just like, oh, hey, let's just decide to do this right now. I was just like, and oh God, I think the reasoning behind this movie has got me like it actually kind of made me like, it was so stupid. It kind of made me mad. I was just like, why? Why is that the reasoning? It's just like,
there's been a lot of things, Ian, that we've watched that just didn't make sense, but this is like one of those. It's like the revelations, just like that is beyond ridiculous. And like I said, if it was done in a comical tone, sort of like how like Club Dread was, or Chop. I don't know if you've seen Chop, but like he goes through all these things, that. Or just like, again, like Club Dread because, he took the weed, Chop because, I don't want to give that away in case people haven't seen Chop. But it's done in a comical manner, it's like, oh, it's stupid, that's funny. But this is so straightforward, and it just revels in like being so serious and the tone that it's trying to achieve. And it desperately, like I said, it desperately tries to be something that it's not. And those are like all these scenes where it's like they're doing like all this atmosphere and all this mood lighting, and there's the scene where Jonah goes into the house and like all the doors, each door has a specific color behind it. So when he opens up one door, it's blue, one's red, one's purple, and one's green, and like doing all this atmospheric stuff that they're trying to achieve, and all the sort of haunting dream sequences. With like the one girl from the beginning of the movie, it's eating like blood pudding, or dog guts or whatever she's eating. There's the scene with like, again, all the balloons, and then like, again, I still don't understand the fucking point of the clown. Like, there's like so many, my head's going around. Like at the beginning of the movie, like he steals the car, right, and it fills up with balloons, and then like they get out because I don't know. They see the one girl, or they stop because the clown passes across the window that's standing there, and they get out, and then the car fills with balloons, and then like he magically shows up, so he's haunting them, following them like a poltergeist would, or entity or whatever, and he shows up and takes the car, and then he drives it back to their house and waits for him, where they're right there. And he could do what he wants to do, but no. It was the sheriff. It was the sheriff that died with his rib cage out and had a balloon on it. That was the reason that they stopped. And it's just like, why are you? Again, I guess it has to do with like it has to be that specific day, but like again, he's like constantly like attacking them. I guess again, like he's after Emma, but yet he's after Heather and Jonah as well. And then later on in the movie, it says, "Oh, you don't want to be in this, Heather. You want to be away. You better go outside." And like she's just waiting there, and like they get killed for no reason when apparently it's just Emma that it's after, not their friends. Yeah. And it didn't. But I know you were making some points there, Ian. I didn't mean to interrupt. But I had to get all that out.
I was just gonna say, when he stole the car, you can see him using the brake. Like, you can see the brake lights come on. I'm like, oh, so at least he's cautious about his driving skills. I was just like, oh, why? I was like, okay, so I was expecting him to, like, chase them with the car. That would have been something. No, just backing away and just driving off, like casually just driving off. Oh, and here's my brake lights because, there's a stop sign. Got to obey the law. I might be a murderous, demonic, possessed clown, but, the law's still the law. And I was just like, what the fuck? This movie is all over the place. It's just, oh, man. This is probably one of the, it's getting up there. I think it's up there with the top, 10 worst movies I've ever watched, just because of plot itself. Oh God!
I mean, it's not up there for me because again, I've seen worse. Sorry, I've seen worse, but this is just one of those that just like it's. I mean, it's a bad movie. It is. It's bad, but like I said, Ian. I mean, to you, Ian, it's up there. To me, I mean, it's subpar. It's subpar. It's just where it's trying too fucking hard. It's trying so hard, and those are the movies that are kind of so pretentious. Even though this one's not as pretentious as, say, like Lady of the Dark or something like that, where it's just trying to be like this, pretentious, film. I mean, there's a story there, but again, it's all due to, it's a simple premise. It should be simple, and they should have had fun with it, and instead they make this. It's just so. That's the only thing that's so disheartening about the film is that it's so. Wanting to, its tone's too serious, and it just that's the whole main thing about the film that I hated, where it's super serious and like I mean you could do that. They did that a little bit in Killer Sofa, where they took it serious manner, but they still had some tongue-in-cheek moments poking fun at it. It's it's sort of like The Drone, where it's like super serious where it shouldn't be, and. The Drone's not a good movie. The Drone is not a good movie, but I'd rather watch this over The Drone again. I'll just say that because The Drone tries way too hard to be something, and it fails miserably.
I honestly I probably could forgive the reasoning why it was if it didn't take itself seriously. Like if it was just a stupid, goofy movie, that would have been. That would have been made sense. Like, oh, this movie's kind of stupid, but in a fun way, so this makes sense. It's just, I was like, I don't know. The only thing I liked about this movie was how it looked nice. It had a pretty nice, clean look to it, and I didn't think the actors were. Well, the blonde girl with the glasses was one of the better actors, I thought, personally, and she seemed to play her role pretty well. I seen her in something else.
I thought I've seen her in something else, but then I looked at her filmography, and this is the first thing I've ever seen her in, so she looked familiar, but she wasn't.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I guess she might just have one of those faces that, you think you know. But, and that's it. Like, for, I think it could have been better. This
one is sort of like in the same vein as like Clown Motel, where they had like this big idea and then like again the execution was just done poorly, and then like they have that ending too in that film where like apparently it's if you remember Clown Motel, the way that it ended, it just didn't make any sense to the film, how it started. And so this is like it's a better done version of that in a small way, because I would probably again watch this over Clown Motel again, even though Clown Motel has some bad moments. It's just so laughable. But this one is just like, the execution is just not all that great. And again, they have some poke fun moments in Clown Motel, but this is too serious. And then, like you said, like the whole reveal of the reasoning, all these, and it's just like the only two hauntings, just the one murder and then the second haunting, and it just like there's no like sense of like the first one either. Like, did she work there at the place there? I don't want to give too much away, just in case people want to check it out. But like the reveal, like so it's just like is it random, or does he have these conversations with these people to know beforehand? Like, because I understand like a little bit with Emma, but like the first one like didn't make sense. Of course it's just like the plot point to get certain characters to certain places later on in the film with the dad and Emma. But it just like felt like, how is he able to figure these things out? you know, in a sense. And again, like the reasoning, just like how does the clown work is never like, that's another thing that, again, it's probably one of the major problems. Like there's no reasoning like how this clown works. And like there's like, oh, I've read all these books, it's a real person, but then it's not, or it was. And it's just like, you can kill it, and then it'll go away, and then it doesn't go away after you stab it, and then you stab it again, and then it does go away, but it, you know, like I'm assuming, again, like the very finale, you know, it made sense how it disappeared afterwards, but like it still didn't make sense because, like, yeah, the person did that and did that to himself, but like you can always go after. Like, is it only for these people? Like, oh, you can go past your fear. I can't. I'm gonna do this. But like, why doesn't he go after other people? And like, oh, you conquered your fear. I'm gonna go after other people. You know, but he doesn't do that.
And he even brought up the fact that like it was gonna come for him because he was also terrified of clowns. And I'm just like, so you're terrified of clowns. Yet, you're using the clown to kill people who are afraid of clowns. That makes no sense. Why didn't you just kill? Why didn't you just have it kill you? It's like, why are you taking possession? Like, wouldn't that like controlling the clown? Wouldn't that help get rid of your fear or something? Why don't you take it on? Like, try to kill it, conquer your fear. No, it's like. You're literally just being stupid. And I just, oh man, that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's one of those films that just slowly unravels. You know, you question everything. And again, it's not, like I said, it's not a good movie in general. It's bad. It's a bad movie. But it's not one of those that you can just like, oh my God, this is so bad. You know, it could be good. This is like Slender Man bad, where it's just like nothing happens and it's kind of just boring. Even though I probably would watch this again over Slender Man because Slender Man's just bad. But again, there's a lot of things, like I'm saying, it's bad, but it's not as bad as like these other films I'm mentioning. Because at least there's like something there, and like you're just kind of sort of, in a sense, reveling in its, you know, how serious and its badness is, you know. But yeah, it's just like, because I'd rather have something like this than like a film that's going to bore me to tears and just bad in general, because I'll go, oh, we're going to edit everything out and make it a completely different movie like they did in Slender Man. And this one, like, at least they tried, in a sense. I hate to say it, but I mean, they did try. I mean, they gave it their damnedest. But it just it was too overly dramatic in the way that they wanted to tell the story, and it didn't really need to be that way. I mean, like I said, it did remind me of Clownado with the way that, like, oh, it's set up in this, you know, that when they do an attack, when the clowns come down from the tornado, and it's in that diner, like, it kind of reminded me of that diner there. So it's like a few things like, oh, this reminded me of Clownado, this reminded me of this, but again, it's just like that. It's just bad, but it's not that bad. You know, it's still a bad movie, and there's a lot of continuity issues and just general like common sense problems. You know, just like this doesn't make any sense. This, you know, just a lot of overly dramatic character arcs that shouldn't be that way, you know, especially the main girl. She just overreacts on everything, and again, I don't know if that was like I'm pretty sure it was probably not intentional, but just like it seemed like she was just like all these things, like normal solutions, like, oh, how dare you think of that? You know, it's just like a person, just like, you know, like you have like a normal conscious person, you know, with, you know, understanding, with like, oh, you know, it's civil understanding of how things work, and she's like, okay, you know, normal person, like, okay, that makes sense, we can do that, you know, put two and two together, that'll come through. Yeah, let's try that. But no, not her. She's like, oh, how dare you? I'm supposed to do this. I'm entitled. I'm this kind of person. I'm going to be a bit, it's just like, Jesus, I don't care about you, I didn't care about her. And that's another thing. Like, she's not a good protagonist. She's another one of those protagonists that we've had to endure where it's just like, I don't care. I have no feelings. I liked Heather, the blonde. She was a better protagonist. And, again, it wasn't about her. Yeah. But again, I'm rambling. You got any final words, Ian?
No, not really.
Yeah, well, that's the beginning of our Clowntergeist, Coulrgoria Marathon with our review of Clowntergeist. Next week, we got some films to choose from, Ian, and hopefully...
I'm scared.
Hopefully they're better. Yeah, they're better. We have to get one bad one every marathon. We're always not lucky, but so far we struck out on our first film. But hopefully the film, as the marathon continues, we'll be able to get one or two decent ones. So I'm interested. Again, you never know with the clown marathon. These clown films are something else, and that is one thing that has been true since we've done any type of clown type film. It's interesting, and the conversations to have from them is just something else. And I'm looking forward to it because there's so much to discuss, and bad or good, when it comes to these clown movies, because you're always you don't know what to expect. And again, we didn't know what to expect with this one, and it is something else. And I guess that's the only way to say it. It's like our Coulrgoria Marathon, something else. But Ian, as always, it's great talking with you week by week and watching these films, because at least we can express ourselves together, and it's always fun. And thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next week as we continue on our Coulrgoria Marathon. So good night.